Hey everybody, welcome back to Kratom Kingdom. This is Chris Irving from Knoxville, Tennessee. Anyway, today I want to talk to you about some different holistic remedies, which will include kratom, of course, to help with certain issues, especially psychological pain issues. Things like I'm on a pretty heavy duty antidepressant, but it doesn't seem to be doing the trick. I've been on it. So they switched me to every other antidepressant I could take. And some of the antidepressants gave me seizures. So they were out. So I started drinking kratom and found that kratom in conjunction with or without my antidepressant really decreased my depression level and made my life tolerable. I wasn't just laying in bed all day, doing nothing, wanting to die. I mean, I actually started making friends or trying to make friends, but being a 53-year-old disabled man is not who doesn't go to bars and drink. So I don't really. When I was younger, I was in a band, so I always had friends. I mean, everybody wanted to hang out with the guy in the band, and so but now that I'm this age, I had nobody but some family that still liked me, which don't anymore. But my depression was profound, where every night I would lay in my bed wishing I were dead. And then I started drinking kratom, specifically red. Red calmed me down, which reduced my anxiety, reduced my pain, which reduced my depression, and also subsequently erased my depression. I can smile now. I don't wish I were dead anymore. I'm kind of looking forward to the next day. I really like making these videos. It's making me more productive. I'm making a lot of friends from this YouTube channel, Slushy, and a couple more that always contact me and who always comment and say really nice things to me. Hey, bro, how are you doing? I'm glad you're doing so good. So anyway, red kratom, I would say, is really good for as an antidepressant. In fact, that's what I'm drinking today because I can't let my depression affect my mom because she's depressed as well, but she won't take kratom. And I cut my heavy duty dosage of antidepressant in half and supplement it with kratom. I tried St. John's wort, but it didn't do anything to me. I tried exercising more, but it's really hard when your whole entire left side is paralyzed like mine is. I can't run, I can't swim, I can't walk real far because my left leg doesn't work right. But ever since the last 10, 15 years that I've been drinking kratom, I can honestly say I'm not depressed. You know, out of all the terrible stuff that happened in my life, my divorce, the death of my father, living homeless in my car, living at my mom's house again, who is very old, obviously, because I'm 53. Um, and she willed the house off to my nephews, her grandchildren. So when she passes, I'm homeless, but I'm not depressed. I mean, I'm more positive now, and I'm gonna figure something out. Something's gonna happen. The universe is gonna take care of me, or social workers, or whatever. But my psychiatrist said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. He's not opposed to kratom at all, and I actually drink it more than coffee. I used to use caffeine to make me so stimulated that my brain wasn't depressed. But that started giving me problems. It got me really fat and really wasn't really cost effective. You know, drinking 7 to 10 Red Bulls a day just to get through the day wasn't very healthy. But kratom, specifically red, has been very effective for my depression. My anxiety, on the other hand, I started drinking yellow, and it keeps me mellow. It makes me sleepy, but I'd rather be sleepy than my heart beating 1,000 beats per minute or 100 beats per minute while I'm doing nothing, which is very unhealthy, causing heart problems. And so yellow kratom really helps out with that. Pain. I was in chronic pain. I mean, they prescribed me 75 hydrocodones a day, or a month. I'm sorry, a day, a month, which I started to become addicted to. So I quit the pain clinic and found out that red and green mixed together took away my headaches, took away my spasticity pain on my left side. You can see my hand is always in a fist, and it's kind of bent down, and that hurts. I mean, it's painful. Those muscles are firing all the time. But red and green kind of loosened me up a little bit and took away, it's like it numbed my left side. So I would rather do that than take narcotics. And when I was addicted to the narcotics, to get off of them, because I cold turkey quit going to the pain clinic and getting those narcotics, I supplemented with drinking more kratom, specifically red and green mixed together, and found that I didn't need the painkillers anymore. I mean, I slowly reduced, I had 1 month. I tapered myself off in a month and got totally off, and now I'll never take them again. Don't need them. Um, some other issues, my depression, anxiety, I have a poor impulse control because of the specific brain damage that I had from a stroke. Um, so to control my impulses, I found that kratom in general, any strain, slows my brain down enough to where I can control the impulses. Sometimes I still blurt it out. Like a couple of days ago, or May 2nd, I went to a dinner party and I didn't take any kratom before I went that day because I was gonna try to get through it, and I lost it, said some really horrible things to my family members, which caused them to beat me up physically. I mean, a 24-year-old and a 40-year-old beating up a 43-year-old or 53-year-old 100% disabled man, throwing him on the floor and kicking him was not so cool. And it was all because I couldn't control my mouth. But by drinking kratom in general calms me down and lets me be able to control my impulse control. I can drive now and not have road rage, and it's just amazing. Somebody commented earlier that there's only one strain, and that all the different colors are just a marketing ploy by distributors to make more money. And I call bullshit on that because when I was buying in my studies, I started buying kratom directly from a farmer in Indonesia, and I asked him, with my next order, can you please send me one color, one leaf, one whole leaf of every color strain and label it for me. So he vacuum sealed them in plastic or whatever you vacuum seal in, and sent them to me. And the red kratom leaf, I noticed, had a red sheen to it on one side. The other side was green, but in every other color consecutively, green was green on both sides, very green. Um, the yellow, even the powder, you can see a yellowness to it. And if you really look at the leaves and the powder closely, you'll notice there is a color difference. And I can tell you what color a glass of kratom is just by looking at it. And so there are different color strains. Mangda, that's a whole nother story. That might be a marketing ploy, especially for an unreputable kratom dealers who don't know much about it. They think, oh, there's a new trend. Let's buy some kratom for $100 from a farmer in Indonesia and sell it for $30 for 8 grams. and then they're making money. They'll put, and they heard if you put Mang Da on it, people are gonna buy it because it's supposed to be a stronger, but there really is a Mang Da, but it comes specifically from Vietnam. There's something in the Vietnamese trees in Southeast Asia. Maybe it's the soil, I've heard, that has certain nutrients in it that feed the leaves and make them more potent. So Mang Da generally is more expensive. Um, and I don't notice much of a difference between a red Mang Da and a just red strain. Um, but I don't know how they would lab test for which country a strain came from or a leaf came from. But I do know there are lab tests for how much Mitrogyna speciosa, which is the alkaloid in the leaf that causes the alterations to your brain. And so there's only one strain. Bullshit. Mang Da, iffy. I don't know. I mean, even my favorite distributor, Amazing Botanicals, they label a lot of kratom as Mang Da. And the Indonesian farmer, I know his farm was in Indonesia. He sent me videos of him farming and picking leaves off his kratom trees. So I knew it was fresh kratom, which makes a huge difference. The freshness of the kratom. How a lot of distributors will set it in boxes in a warehouse for months and months and years until they divide it up and powder it. Um, so you want to ask your distributor, if it's an online distributor, how long has this stuff is your kratom fresh, or how long has it been sitting in a warehouse in a box? Because that's if it's old kratom that's just been sitting there for a year, it's going to be crap. And I think that's generally what you're getting when you go to a head shop or a corner store, a convenience store, that sells glass pipes for meth, or what I mean, just those shady convenience stores. Um, in a pinch, I'll use it because I can get it for a half a pound of it for $30, and I'll just quadruple quadruple the dosage of it and use it really quick. But it gets me through to the end of the month if I'm running low. But I can't use that as my primary source of kratom because it's too expensive and it's really crappy kratom. So holistically, there are different alternatives than using antidepressants, benzos for anxiety, and narcotics for pain relief. If you have stomach issues, kratom might not be the best thing for you because it is a little rough on my stomach. But then again, it's my drink all day long, that and caffeine, which gives me kind of heartburn. Like right now, I'm feeling a little bit of burning in my chest, but it could be the amount of citric acid that I have in my kratom. Citric acid itself is an acid, and it will affect your digestion. So, which is why I'm getting more and more used to using orange juice. I can use less of it and no sugar, and decrease the amount of kratom that I use because orange juice is a really strong citric acid and tastes really good, and it makes the horrible, horrible, horrible taste of kratom tolerable for me. So I can drink it all the time. And another trick you can do is, however you're boiling water to make your kratom or heating up your water, take it off just before it boils, because boiling water will kill uh, some of the components of the kratom that work. So I've gotten really used to. I use an electric tea kettle to heat my water, and I've gotten used to where it is before it starts to boil, how long it takes, and So I drink it just before it boils, and I use it for specifically for anxiety, depression, pain relief, and focus. Instead of using an Adderall or an ADD Ritalin or anything like that, I would rather use white kratom to help me focus and stay able to accomplish issues. Like when I was in college, I would be drinking yellow or white kratom while I was writing 100-paper term papers in graduate school, and was able to do it because of that. Pre-stroke, kratom, I had the ability to write hundreds and hundreds of page papers, theses, and I was on my way to my doctorate until I had the stroke. But after the stroke, with the help of kratom and caffeine, I was able to get a master's degree in psychology and another master's degree in special education. So I'm technically a licensed special education K through 12 teacher because of my psychology and education master's degrees. And I did have a license for a long time, but because I couldn't drink kratom at work, my memory was horrible, and I couldn't remember my own kids' names. I forgot how to write there's a lot of paperwork in special ed, and I just wasn't very good at it after my brain damage. So they kind of didn't want to renew my contract and suggested I retire and live off my pension. So I had a social worker help me get on disability, which I know is taking from taxes from the taxpayers, and it's a controversial issue. But I've been working since I was 14 years old and paid into the Social Security system, so I see it as my money. It's not like I didn't work or pay into the system. I pay taxes my entire life until I got sick. Um, so I don't feel like a bum by living off my SSDI and using Medicare. And kratom is a very good alternative to hardcore drugs. If you're wanting to get off of meth, I would suggest white and green. Mix white and green together and you'll be stimulated. I've personally never done meth, so I don't know the effects of it, nor have I done cocaine. Um, but if you're wanting to get lifted, and that's all I'm going to say, I would say that depends on dosage. From all the literature I've learned and all the experience I've had, it's not a particular strain, but it's the dosage, how much you actually consume at one time. And you have to experiment with that yourself, because I've got no guideline on that, nor have I heard. I watched a YouTube video of a guy bragging that he was taking the capsules, which I think are crap and don't do anything. They just burn my stomach, make me want to throw up. So I don't use capsules. I use pure kratom powder or leaf and make a tea out of it. So anyway, that's all I got for you today. And if you want, in the comments, recommend other subjects that you want to know about kratom so I can make videos, because I feel like I've almost talked about everything at this time. I've got over 400 videos and 930 subscribers. Help me get to 1,000, guys. If you know other people that are interested in kratom, if you have kratom parties, that's what I would do. That's how I started getting into kratom. Was my friend Carl, who was a holistic shaman, he would have these kratom parties. We would all sit around in a circle and make hot tea and kava. I hate kava. Kava does nothing to me. But for some people, it was very effective. But kratom really touched me, and it really helped me a lot. So I started using more kratom and became obsessed with it. And through trial and error, learned a lot about it and a lot of studying from chemists um, Hamilton Andrew Morrison, I think, Pharmacopoeia. He does a lot. He's a chemist that does a lot of real research on kratom, and I would suggest his YouTube channel too. And I'm not being sponsored by Amazing Botanicals. I just prefer them. They've not offered me any kind of. I don't get free kratom from them. I don't get anything actually from them. But I like their kratom, and I asked them, "Would you mind if I mentioned your name in my videos?" And they said no. And they said, "Well, if we notice our business increasing because of your videos, then we will consider sponsoring you and giving you free kratom maybe, or but that hasn't happened yet. So I'm just doing what I do because I love it. And I love talking to you and I love making videos. Have an awesome day, guys. And keep drinking kratom because it works. Peace out.